ways. So drinking water, food, dust, air, clothing. So lots of ways for them to get inside your bloodstream.
Don't lose focus. I know you can win this.
This is similar to inhalation or ingestion of radioactive so it's going to be one of those chronic low-dose things over time.
Your hard work and determination really paid off.
No, biological half-life is something that you can calculate. In the case of nuclear materials like cesium-137, you stack the material half-life with the biological, that's the time it takes for half the substance to decay by a radioactive decay, and the time it takes half the substance to go away by biological processes such as excretion.
The trouble is that the same
blown away
carbon-chlorine bonds
by
that
how
make
far
PFAS so stable and useful in consumer products also make them even more persistent in the environment. We're just writing labels that have PFAS. They are everywhere, puzzling cities to untouched areas of the world.
Your hard work and determination really paid off.
The same EPA rules set on anything with chemicals. Fortunately, in nuclear power plants, you're not around as many exotic chemicals as far as what you produce compared to, say,
every continent, including Antarctica, has PFAS all over. Almost every living creature, from polar bears to birds to fish, this stuff is being found everywhere. So, massive worldwide contamination. But by completely
look at you go!
man-made chemicals,
No one can keep up with you!
back to just a couple of companies.
Welcome back.
So the question is, how much of these dangerous chemicals are in my blood?
Has anyone ever come back with blood that has 0 PFAS whatsoever?
I've been doing blood testing on PFAS since 2007, and I've never seen a non-detect.
So solid is the answer.
I hear that 98% of the population has PFAS in their blood, but I'm looking for that 2% that doesn't, because I've yet to see them.
That's incredible. I mean,
Many blood tests.
So many new options for your consideration.
Then you should have found that 2% by now, depending on how long it's been doing.
that incredible as well. Wow.
But if everyone on Earth has trace amounts of these chemicals in their blood, how much harm could they really be doing?
I want to make a distinction because it turns out not all PFAS.
Your hard work and determination really paid off. That one will serve you well.
I've touched it right out of its packaging, with gloves of course, but got no dose. Whereas spent fuel is the one that has to be under a submarine crane. Refueling operations has to be done using submarine cranes to keep your operators safe.
Long, repeating chains of carbon-fluorine bonds that are tens or hundreds of thousands of atoms long. So stuff like Teflon. These are so big and inert, even if you do ingest them, your body's just going to flush them out. They can't be absorbed into your bloodstream, so you're pretty safe.
They're kind of like a xenon-135. It's a noble gas, so for very similar reasons, you're just going to exhale
fluoropolymers because of the long, repeating chains of carbon and fluorine bonds. But the catch is, to make these fluoropolymers, stuff like Teflon, you need to use processing aids, things like PFOA or Gen X, and those are the nasty ones.
First place! I always knew you could do it!
It's really it's really gross.
one will serve you well.
Perhaps the most comprehensive document on PFAS toxicity was published in 2022 by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. And it looked at
only 7. That's a lot. They're very heavy.
Perfluoroalkyl acids. These are sister chemicals to PFOA, and some of them, like PFOS and PFHXS, were used heavily in the production of stain and water-resistant products, like 3M's Scotchguard, before they too got phased out due to toxicity concerns. The report surmised that if the sum of these 7 acids in your blood is below 2 parts per billion, there shouldn't be any harm. If your level is between 2 and 20 parts per billion, there's a potential for harmful health effects, although the exact mechanism which PFAS cause harm isn't fully understood. Exposure has most consistently been associated with high cholesterol, a decreased immune system response to vaccines and infections, kidney cancer, and decreased growth in infants. PFAS are also linked to dozens of other conditions.
The reason why infants are tested.
And above 20 parts per billion, the risk is even greater. So where do I fall on this graph?
Right, so I have the results here.
You're not going to tell me where yours were before I see mine?
No.
What is this, like Maury Povich or something? I have your results here, but I'm not going to reveal them until the end of the show.
You're positive for PFOA.
Okay.
The level for PFOA for a U.S. person went down from 5 parts per billion around the 2000s to around 1.46. What you have, so you're super average for
Amazing! First place is no small feat.
That's crazy. It shocks me. It's like this meeting expected to be, roughly average.
I appreciate your continued patronage.
The combined sum of all the PFAS detected in my blood was 17.92 parts per billion, more than double the US median. I'm just below the level where the National Academies recommend additional screenings for PFAS-related diseases.
I had no idea I would come back with such elevated levels. I'd love to get the level sort of down a bit to a level where I feel it.
Well, I admire, it takes some level of vulnerability to reveal any medical stuff on a show, especially one as popular as this. That's all.
More in line with the general population.
Yeah.
But where could this have come from? There are 3 main ways we get exposed to forever chemicals, and the one you'll hear the most about in the media is likely PFAS-containing products.
Shampoo, dental floss, stains, varnishes, potentially dangerous chemicals, toxic chemicals.
People are throwing out their non-stick cookware.
My wife threw out all her non-stick pans over a year ago, and since then we've been using stainless steel. She is very good at making it not stick. Me,
You
not so much.
continue to
But her
impress
pan's
me.
really the problem.
The actual coating on the pan is Zephrys, which again is just a long chain of carbon. So even if you ingest it, it doesn't react with your body. Without the same goes for most other PFAS chemicals. Trans might release So the bigger problem is how easily PFAS from these products can end up in the environment. Many of the factories that make these products don't have a good track record of keeping the chemicals out.
People don't understand
understand what's happening in the community. This is the same.
Your hard work and determination really paid off.
Australia.
So many new options for your consideration.
In the UK, I mean, there are a lot of folks that are still not grasping the fact that these are the same chemicals.
Our second main source of exposure is food. A lot of it comes packaged in PFAS-treated materials like takeout boxes, liquid bags, and burger wrappers.
We're talking about the food itself, like animals that have internal contamination. I guess one way to limit that would be to eat relatively low on the food chain.
If it's on a burger wrapper, is it a tiny amount? Is it a ridiculously tiny amount?
We actually if you're going to lick the wrapper.
Did tests at the lab with stuff that usually contains chemicals. So
There's a rise. There's a rise.
paper cups that are water. So lab it's out on your throat, but also London. Could we boil some water, because usually you interact with these products when they're hot, and then see if any of the PFAS leaches off, and you potentially eat them or drink them?
This is citizen science, right? Seems like there might be some error, but with a solid control, and then at the same time we're going to all of them, we can at least get something.
Yeah. And even if we get nothing, we'll know that people are probably safe using these products. Right.
Mr. Wrong.
Your skills are unmatched.
It's supposed to be safe.
Time waits for no one.
There's something to be said when you're using these products.
And research tends to agree. A 2019 study found that eating fast food and microwave popcorn especially can increase your PFAS load, while eating home-cooked meals doesn't. But even something as simple as preheating your food on a plate instead of in the original packaging could prevent PFAS from migrating to your food.
Sure.
Now, you might expect that these part per trillion levels we detected in the London tap water are nothing compared to the parts per billion you'd find in human blood. But the surprising thing is that to have 2 parts per billion of PFOA in your blood, you need to drink water with 2 parts per billion of PFOA in it. Because PFAS accumulate in your body over time. So even water with as little as 4 parts per trillion of PFOA combined with other exposure can be enough to maintain your blood levels this high. And this is why, in addition to food, water is your biggest source of exposure. This is especially true if you live near a PFAS factory where the local water is often heavily contaminated. But the same goes for areas near military bases or airports. See, adding chemicals like PFOA or PFOS to water lowers its surface tension, so the water gets more slippery. And these chemicals also tend to foam up, so they make for an excellent ingredient in firefighting foams. They spread quicker, and the foam blocks access to oxygen extremely well. And since both military bases and airports frequently do fire drills with these foams, they end up seeping into the surrounding soil and groundwater. But it doesn't stop there.
That'd be interesting to do a safety analysis and if you look at the probability of fires, of when to alter the
I'm
frequency
blown
of the
away
fires
by how far you've
to
come.
optimize safety. And I guess you're gonna have to try any increased firefighter due to this contamination.
Planetary
Water cycle is contaminated by chemicals. So even when it rains that rain sometimes differs. To check the water levels in your area, you can use these maps that show progress contamination levels in the US. This map will
Another satisfied
pH
customer.
excess level is crazy. So maybe you're getting your water from Rita. There's a calculator. It could give you an estimate of your blood serum is. What we can try to do now is put that up in the calculator, see if you get something close to what you have if you want. Sure. pH excess. So typical value for an adult is 1 part per billion. Standard for Rita water, 7 parts per trillion.
If you look after like 10 years,
so after roughly 10 years of exposure, you're going to have 6.85 parts in your blood. And then I can tell you
Signed, sealed,
six
and delivered.
That would explain things.
now I can't say for sure.
I don't know. I wouldn't put too much stock into a lot of these little online calculators.
My drinking water was coming from. But if I was consistently drinking water contaminated at similar levels, then that would explain my results. But if you're worried about your own water, you should contact your provider directly for the most relevant information.
Aren't you all
It's
precious?
concerning just how unregulated drinking water has been.
It was actually only a year ago, in April 2024, that the US EPA finally set legal limits for PFAS in drinking water.
The safe level for PFOA went down from DuPont's initial 1 part per billion to 4 parts per trillion.
All
So we're no longer
precious.
talking about 1 drop of PFOA in these tanks. We're talking about 105,000. That's 5 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Significant.
And
yeah.
if there's even a drop of PFOA in there,
Amazing! First
The
place is
same
no
4 parts per
small
trillion
feat.
limit was also set for PFOS, the sister chemical. And Gen X went down from 7 parts per trillion initially proposed by Congress to just the same levels for PFH cells. For reference, the water is 10,000 parts per trillion, and for cyanide, 200,000. Gives you a pretty good scientific
We got
contaminated, you might want to consider getting a PFAS applied filter. Osmosis, granulated active carbon, and ion exchange
Your
filters are
hard
all
work
capable
and
of removing
determination
PFAS out of
really
drinking.
paid off.
But the responsibility to filter drinking water shouldn't come down to the individual.
Yeah,
PFAS should be captured at the source during manufacture
it should be based on who you pay for your water bill.
before they ever reach the environment. And some companies, like Pure Affinity, are developing custom filters to make that happen.
So, very lab-looking lab.
so could you walk me through like what all these pipes do and what do you have in here?
So this one is representative of where you've had a big firefighting foam incident. So you want to filter this water, but basically the concept is take it from the top through the vessel. As it passes through this material, it basically sticks on to some of the PFAS chemicals in water, and then you run into another part of treatment, and a third one.
To me, it seems like if PFAS are so like
It's
bioaccumulative
like a miniature advanced liquid processing system that you do for liquid red light.
and actually persistent and stable, they don't really react with things. So how do you force them to
An excellent addition to your
Basically
team.
taking advantage of this long organic tail as well as the polar head, and so you can have some electrostatic interactions. Hydrophilic and hydrophobic reactions in the tail. Finding these 3 functional species match your likelihood of finding PFAS, even if it's still difficult.
Right. Do the levels drop percent already here, or do you see a gradual decrease in PFAS?
That's a cool question.
Okay.
So in the beginning, it drops 100% after this one.
Oh, so problem solved.
Problem solved for the time being.
Okay.
What we see right now is it will last about 40,000 volumes of this vessel. So a 10-liter vessel will basically provide all of the PFAS treatment for a household.
In a year.
For a year.
You want this to be in factories first, so it never gets into the water.
Yeah. We're talking to the fluorochemicals manufacturers, and they're really trying to
First place! I always knew you could do it.
That's good. Stand up.
Everyone's true risk for PFAS will be different. Depends on the distance factors, like water contamination or lifestyle, which should you really worry about. Like we're talking about 17 or 18 parts per million drinking out the everyday, moving out of these plants. Because there are no approved medical treatments available.
However, if you compare PFAS contamination between the sexes, male levels are consistently higher, at least up until around the age of 50, when menopause usually starts.
This is partly because menstruation, birth, and lactation are all ways PFAS can escape the body. PFAS can pass through the placenta and into the fetus during pregnancy. And then the baby can also get exposed through breast milk.
It's something that pregnant people should be extremely careful about. You know, young children are incredibly susceptible. They're drinking more water, they're growing, they're near surfaces like treated carpets.
Now, not everyone has to change their lifestyle because of PFAS.
But if you're in a high-risk group because of pregnancy or because you live
I'll give you a good hand shadow lessons.
Firefighters have especially high PFAS levels because they're
Why not hire one of these fine?
Whatever
they
a 2022 study found that when firefighters donated blood or plasma frequently enough, they reduced their PFAS levels by up to 30% within a year.
And it's kind of ironic that, our health system is coming back to bloodletting.
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea of donating blood as a way to reduce PFAS?
I've never heard of that as a strategy. That's kind of interesting. Well, I definitely recommend people donate blood more frequently. Not because of PFAS exposure, because it's not just what's important to note is that, especially in this current administration, we need to be very careful about shifting budgets away from research agencies, because without that research, the guidance that I'm giving is going to be significantly more flawed. The reason I'm able to talk about what we know and what we don't know comes from we're going to be cutting the budgets of these major agencies. It's going to get worse and worse in the future.
We are still better PFAS regulations. This is extremely tricky. There are places where we should ban PFAS completely. Hygiene products, cosmetics.
Determination really paid off.
I am excited and inspired by all the great work that what's going on around me. So I think if people want to learn
An
more,
excellent
I would
addition
advise
to your
learn
team.
about the risk, but then also learn about the new technology that's being developed that will hopefully put us in the right direction.
So, to me, one of the most important things we can do is have discussions like what we're doing right here. If the story is and the information's out there, people can make informed choices about whether they want to continue purchasing things that have these materials in them. And what we're seeing is consumers, as they do become aware, are saying, no, we don't want these chemicals. And companies are voluntarily coming forward and taking these chemicals out of products because of consumers.
And that's where you need to be. You need to be ahead of the regulator. And that's just like it is in the nuclear industry. The regulators are basically the bare minimum standard, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Nuclear power plants, whether it be for waste, whether it be for operational safety or personal safety, essentially set their own standard. And there's even a couple of agencies, I use the term agency, technically they're more of a consulting group, but Institute of Power Operations. They're actually those set by the Nuclear Regulatory. INCO's the U.S. version. There's also
You continue to impress me.
Those are the teams that display things.
Another satisfied customer. Excellent addition to your team. First place! I always knew you could do it.